Damaging winds are the lead story across the Central Plains today, and roughly 600,000 people sit inside the zone where the worst of it hits. A slight risk stretches from North Oklahoma through central Kansas and into the western Dakotas, and storms firing this afternoon will have the punch to snap trees, peel roofing, and throw debris. Stay with me. In about 90 seconds, I'll tell you exactly which city I think takes the hardest hit and when. My read on this setup is straightforward. A storm system pushing east has winds stacked from the ground to the top of the atmosphere, all aimed at the same corridor where storms will fire this afternoon. That alignment is what turns a normal thunderstorm line into a wind damage machine. Today's Doppler score is 7.7 out of 10, driven by the wind and hail combination. Here's the jet stream animation. The strongest upper-level winds are aimed directly over western Kansas and southeastern Colorado, and that tells me any storm that develops underneath gets an extra push. Downdrafts inside these storms can grab that speed and slam it straight to the surface. Now look at the surface forecast chart. A cold front is draped from the northern plains south through Kansas and into Oklahoma. When afternoon heating destabilizes the air ahead of that front, storms will erupt along it. And that frontal push is the engine that keeps the line moving and the winds accelerating. The wind probabilities tell the biggest story today, so let's start there. This map shows a 15% damaging wind zone stretching from Texas all the way to Montana, and inside that zone you'll see the significant hatching. That means gusts strong enough to collapse outbuildings and snap power poles. We're talking 65 miles per hour or higher reaching the ground. If you have anything unsecured in your yard, patio furniture, trampolines, trash bins, bring them in before mid-afternoon. Now here's the hail outlook. A 15% zone sits over the same corridor, and again, significant hatching is present inside it. That's hail 2 inches or larger. At that size, you're looking at cracked windshields, dented hoods, and damaged roofs. If you have a garage, use it. If you don't, any overhead cover is better than nothing. The tornado map shows a 2% probability corridor from southern South Dakota through Nebraska into northern Oklahoma, with significant hatching over central Kansas. A brief tornado or two can't be ruled out with the chance of an EF2 or higher being possible, but wind damage is the primary threat today. My call: Wichita takes the worst of this between 4 and 7 p.m. Central Time. That's where the wind and hail probabilities stack on top of each other right as storms mature along the front. Now let me show you exactly which cities are inside these threat zones, because if yours is on this list, your afternoon plans need to change. At the highest tier, sitting inside the slight risk, Wichita and Enid. That's the core. Storms here will be the most organized and produce the most damaging wind and largest hail. Rapid City is also inside the slight zone, though the timing there shifts later into the evening. On the outer ring in the marginal zone, the Oklahoma City Metro, Tulsa, Topeka, and Lawrence are all included. You're on the edge, but an isolated severe storm can still reach you. If this breakdown helped you understand your risk today, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. On your screen now is the simulated radar forecast. Storms initiate along the front between 2 and 3 p.m. Central Time across western Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle. By 4 p.m., a broken line of storms organizes and pushes east through Wichita and Enid. The strongest cells peak between 4 and 7 p.m., and that's the window for the largest hail and most damaging gusts. By 9 p.m., the line shoves east of the primary threat corridor, and the worst is behind you. No watches are active right now, but I expect the Storm Prediction Center to issue a severe thunderstorm watch for central Kansas and northern Oklahoma by early to mid-afternoon. Charge your phone now and turn on wireless emergency alerts. Know which room in your home has no windows and get there fast if a warning is issued. On your screen is the Doppler threat outlook for the next several days. Today is our peak concern at 7.7. Tomorrow carries a slight risk shifting into eastern Nebraska and western Iowa, with a 15% wind zone and 15% hail zone centered near the Nebraska-Kansas border. Significant hail hatching shows up again tomorrow, so this isn't a one-day event for the Central Plains. Day 3 drops to marginal with the threat sliding further east. Beyond that, the extended outlook is clean with no severe weather signals through day 8. On your screen now is the excessive rainfall outlook. Today carries a slight risk for heavy rain over portions of the northern Rockies, with a marginal corridor stretching south through the Central Plains. The storms moving through Kansas and Oklahoma this afternoon can drop rain fast enough to flood streets and low-water crossings. Don't drive through standing water tonight. Doppler tracking. Doppler out.